fans. Okay, let's get into this one right here. Well, let's talk about this one. It looked like they cloned Luka Doncic, and now I guess they have cloned James Harden. That's what they're going to say, folks. That's what they're going to say on social media, that now they have cloned James Harden. Wow. What the hell is going on out here, folks? Oh boy. So supposedly, we don't know if this is true. We haven't seen it in live, but James Harden has cut off his beard. And then when I go look at the photo, he not only cut off his beard, I guess he cut off his cornrows, right? And now he is left with a disaster on his hands. And he looks really overweight. Kind of overweight in the first place. But, you know, he really looks overweight now. He just looks like a couch potato slob looking. I don't even know how to describe it. He looks homeless. He he just looks like a homeless person on the streets, right? Trying to get a meal from a church that opens at 12 o'clock and in the soup kitchen line, and he doesn't look well, folks. He looks ridiculous, and I don't know. We'll have to see this in live. I haven't seen Luka Doncic live either, so I haven't seen him. I guess we have, right? I gotta go look at it, right? I guess it was video footage of him getting the contract. I mean, I don't know what all this means. Why do you have to have a press conference to confirm that you're giving him a 3-year, whatever it was, 100 and something million? What was it? That's low, ain't it? Maybe it was 160. I don't know, man. But I guess maybe there was video footage, right? I haven't seen Luka Doncic myself, so I guess he is that skinny, right? And my whole thing about it is, he was balling out of control. At least these last 3 years being fat. And look at this narrative or this storyline, whatever you want to say, that the NBA has brought you, right? The excuse for Nico Harris for gifting LA maybe the best player of all time in Dallas was because he was out of shape. He was out of shape, but yet he took you to the finals, and he's been averaging, I don't know, what is it, the top 3 of all time in the playoffs, in the regular season, in scoring, or top 5, whatever it is, while putting up, 8 rebounds, 8 assists. It was just the most ridiculous story you ever heard, right? And then, he was getting vilified for trading Luka Doncic. And then once the LeBron James Unclutched Sports train said that Luka Doncic was fat and out of shape, well, once they confirmed that was the reason why they lost in the first round, that was starting to be the push to get, we didn't even know Luka Doncic was going to do this. He was going to go out and lose this weight. So realize how crazy this really is. Because of Clutch Sports and Clutch Media blaming Luka Doncic after they lost to the Minnesota Timberwolves, you're basically telling me that Luka Doncic went out and lost all this weight to please Clutch Sports, right? That's pretty much what they're telling us, folks. Nobody is saying this. Nobody had an issue with Luka Doncic's weight like that. And he performed in this past playoffs. So what's because they had to say defensively, he couldn't do it. They couldn't say offensively. They said defensively. So what was LeBron James' excuse that he couldn't do it defensively, not only against Minnesota, but for years he couldn't do it defensively. He couldn't do it defensively in his 30s. What was his excuse? While he's going to the gym and drinking up juice. What was his excuse? I don't get it. So basically, Luka Doncic lost this weight. Then please clutch sports. Because they were the only one pretty much throwing it in his face. So when I hear people say, oh, he lost his weight, he was inspired by Kobe Bryant. He was inspired by Michael Jordan. Sounds like he was inspired by Clutch Sports. Because he wasn't trying to lose this weight before, the media blamed him. So why is it, I've heard some people say that LeBron James is going to try to take credit for this. Why not? Him and Clutch Sports in the media is the one that blamed Luka Doncic for being overweight and the reason why they lost the first round. Is it true that they lost the first round because of that? Hell no. They lost the first round because of LeBron James. They lost the first round because gambling is legal across the board. So the media will have you run and think Lakers in 5. So you're going to put all your money on the Lakers, especially a 3 versus a, what were they, 6? The Minnesota was? Like 3 versus 6 or something like that? So, you know what I'm saying? So you're obviously thinking that the Lakers is going to win this one. No problem. But again, they're not, because gambling is legal in these NBA blanks. You fill in the blanks is going to get paid. That's why they lost. These players could give a snuff about winning, folks. They win other ways. Yes, sir. So, I just find that funny. Is Luka, is he gonna be able to do the stuff he used to do physically against defenders? Because now he's out there, skinny and frail. We'll see what happens. And it will be funny as hell if he ain't got that type of mojo anymore like he used to. It's going to be hilarious. And it's James Harden. Why are you losing weight now, bro? No, he didn't lose weight. What am I talking about? Did I say lose weight? Why are you cutting his beard off right now? It's weird, man. I guess fear the beard meant we were going to be in fear without the beard. Fear the beard meant without the beard, we were going to be in fear. I guess that's what that meant, because this guy looks so damn ridiculous without that beard. And I've seen people with beards, and guess what? They look older with beards. And once they cut the beard, they look way younger. Way younger. Not James Harden. James Harden cut the beard, and he looks 15 years older, and he looks homeless. Wow. What a transformation. And he looks overweight. And it's hard to say that because he was overweight before, in my opinion. And what's so funny when we talk about the Luka thing again, you would consider Joker overweight in the 90s. He just would be. Maybe not. I guess if he was way out of his prime, he won't be considered overweight, right? If he was like 13 years in, something like that really won't be considered overweight. But he's basically, Joker been playing at the same weight for a few years now. So that weight in the 90s, he would literally be overweight. But somehow he's been able to carry that weight up and down the floor in his fast pace and dominate So really, nobody's said nothing about his weight or being overweight for Joker, but he really is. But to me, imagine if he went against some real stiff competition at the center position. Wow, that would be nuts. You know what I'm saying, man? Think about if Joel Embiid, played up to an all-time great standard. I think he could dominate Joker. But, they've had some good matchups. But I'm talking about if Joel Embiid really played up to that standard and had the mindset that Joker had, he would be unstoppable in this era. He would be the one winning all these MVPs. But he doesn't. He don't have that mindset. Because physically, and along with the skills he has, he should be the one dominating in this era. But he don't have that type of mindset like Joker. He don't. Joker. I mean, Joker's mindset is just like, I don't know what to describe it, but I don't want to put him in some place to where he's not supposed to be. But compared to Joker's mindset, Joel Embiid's mindset, I don't even know where to put it either. It's just like he's a professional player. Joel Embiid is, and he acts like a child. He has like a LeBron James mindset. This type of mindset, like a man child. He's not even close to Joker in mindset as far as basketball. I mean, this is ridiculous. Yeah, he can go out there and give Joker, get dropped like 40 points on his head one night or whatever like that, or 50 points on anybody's head. But consistently to say, watch this, I'm going to go out and be the greatest center of all time. He don't have that mindset, folks. He's got the skills, right, to try to have that mindset to go do that. He plays in a weak era against no competition to where he could have that mindset and actually, try to go out and do those things. You know what I'm saying? But he don't have it. Joker has that mindset. Look, I have these skills. This era is weak as far as center competition. Watch what I'm going to go do. You know what I'm saying? And he done did it. He done proved it. I don't think, we're yet to see Wemby. He's 2 years in now, folks. Let's see if he's got that mindset to do those type of things. Yes, he's playing good. He's a good player. But, there's good players. But there's players who say, I'm going to be the greatest of all time. And they have that mindset that they're going to go out and do it. And then there's just players that say, I'm going to be good in the NBA or I'm going to be great in the NBA, but never have that mindset to say, I'm going to be the greatest of all time. That's what I'm going to try to be at my position. You could even think, at your position or just period. And you see people like that, like Magic Johnson and John Stockton and Bill Russell and, Kobe Bryant and, Shaq and Patrick Ewing and, just having to check all these guys. That was their mindset of either being the greatest of all time or the greatest at their position. And I'm not trying to say they were either. But then, again, some of them were. But then again, you got guys like Joel Embiid. He doesn't, or Joker, right? I said Joker. That's the way he feels. He wants to be the greatest of all time, period. Or he feels like he wants to be the greatest of all time at his position. Whether he is or whether he will be, that's irrelevant. He still got the mindset. Joel Embiid don't have this mindset. A lot of these guys don't have the mindset. These guys in the 2020s are just, in the 2010s, in the 2000s. I'm not trying to pick on one particular guy, but there's only a handful of elite guys throughout history that thought this way. That they wanted to be the greatest of all time or, the greatest at their position. But Joel Embiid is not one of those guys. He's just not. He's just not. He never will be, And it's sad because, you know, he's got the tools to do it in this era. Like I said, we'll see what Victor Wembanyama does. He have the mindset? He's got the tools. He's shown us he's got the tools. But where's the mindset? Now you done missed the playoffs 2 years in a row. I mean, whatever. So, LeBron James took a picture behind the Clippers logo at their old facility. That Clutch Sports owns this facility. I always just, you know, when I hear about this story about Clutch Sports, it just cracks me up. The whole thing about, you know, LeBron James' buddy that runs Clutch Sports, now a millionaire, and this guy was selling jerseys out the back of his trunk. Rich Paul. Just the most insane story you ever heard, folks. Just the most insane story you ever heard. Like, where did this guy get the money to start Clutch Sports? I've never seen anything in his history that he went to school for accounting, business, MBA, what's that? You know, business. You know, went to school to be an agent. And when we say school, you know, you guys know I mean college. He never went to college for none of these things, folks. And somehow he's trusted to run a business, run a sports agency, you know, be some type of agent in some type of way. It's on his sports players. This type of guy. He just got this cachet because he's LeBron's buddy that was selling jerseys out the back of a trunk, folks, when LeBron James met him at the airport. I mean, really? So I'm not too for sure what to really say about this. You know, I've did videos on this, and it's just the most ridiculous thing you ever heard. LeBron James saw this guy after he graduated high school at an airport, and I think he's about to catch a plane. I forget the whole story. Was he going to a draft or after the draft? Whatever. But LeBron James, we all know by now, grew up a rich kid since he was in the 5th grade, right? His mama basically gave him away to a rich family, and he grew up nose in the air, silver spoon, rich boy, and was driving around in Hummers in high school. Hummers, folks. And he was so interested in his pipsqueak, Rich Paul, that, you know, I'm not going to try to say, you know, LeBron James was a young guy. And, you know, people that young get entertained by things like that. People selling jerseys out of cars. Maybe it made him stop. I don't know. Back of the trunk, whatever. And I'm not trying to say he didn't stop. Or maybe he, you know, it is true he did see this guy selling jerseys. I don't know. But how does this guy become your right-hand businessman from selling jerseys, folks? This is not a businessman. Unless you literally fell in love with this dude. Sexually. I mean, sexually. I'm not trying to be funny, guys. That you will put this guy at the forefront of business for you. You guys ain't understanding, man. because nobody has ever told you to think when it comes to this ludicrous story, right? And then when you listen to this guy talk, first of all, he doesn't talk like a man. He doesn't act like a man. There's no man energy coming off of this so-called man. And he doesn't sound like a business man. Nothing like that, folks. A lot of times these guys, they try to put on this persona, try to put on this facade, and try to put on this character. And it's just like, who the hell are you really? Who the hell are you really? Because the way you're acting ain't how the dudes act. The men act in society. And I'm going to just leave that alone, folks. Because I don't want to get too far into that again. But for many of us, they not like us. So I'm going to get off of here. But, I just had to bring that up. Unclutch Sports bought this facility, and it's just weird. Like, they say they never took down a Clippers logo, but why not? Why would you want a Clippers logo as a Laker working out in there? Because we all know LeBron James literally owns Clutch Sports. Where the hell did this guy get the money to start an agency? Where? Well, the obvious, probably from LeBron James. And of course, they'll say, oh no, he took out a loan. Or it started from the bottom, all this stuff, right? But in some way, LeBron James' hand is tied in this company. Nevertheless, why the hell once you take down the Clippers logo when you bought the facility? I don't know when they bought it. I guess when the Clippers, opened their new facility. But what is this guy mad about? Because I keep hearing that he's mad at the Lakers because of Luka Doncic is a new face. This makes zero sense. Before Luka Doncic even got this deal, people were saying that LeBron James is mad at the Lakers for not doing nothing. What are we talking about? They done brought all kind of people over here. First of all, you got Luka Doncic. What else do you want? They signed Ayton. They signed a whole bunch. You got Reeves. You got Rory. What do you want? What are you mad about? This will be the most insane thing when you keep hearing people say LeBron James is mad at the Lakers for not, doing anything in the offseason. What haven't they done? I'm confused. What happened? It ain't what they haven't done. It's about he has to be the spotlight. The NBA continues to make this guy the spotlight because they can't sell their league based on on-court greatness, folks. How many times have I said that? A league, let's see. So if the NBA was selling their league based on on-court greatness through viewership, there's no way in this world that they would have this clown saying and doing the things that he does and says. No way. There would be no reason to have a damn clown doing clown things all these years. But this is all the NBA can do and bring you because they're not selling their league based on on-court greatness. So they want you to have this 95% soap opera off the court and, just 5% greatness on the court that you'll think is more than that when you hear these announcers and these play-by-play guys lie. They better lie or they're going to get fired. Because basically all you have now is welfare workers on the play-by-play. I mean, it's getting real sketchy for these guys. They don't know if they're going to have a job tomorrow. That's how bad the NBA is. ESPN and all these, they can't afford to pay these guys. So they keep firing analysts and play-by-play guys, bringing the WNBA play-by-play women, dudes, whatever they want to be. So this is what they got to do. Tell you how great. We've never seen this. Guys back in the day just couldn't do this. They just wasn't this. And oh, God. You got to remember also, too, in the United States, the demographic is changing, man. So these new people coming into this country, they don't care about basketball like that. They don't. They don't care about the NBA like that. They care more about soccer or whatever, where they came from. Or they don't care about sports at all. So let me get off of here, man. We'll see what happens, with Luka Doncic. Is he going to be able to be that same player next year? And they'll be looking dumb if he ain't. And like I said, he didn't want to lose weight, and the pressure wasn't on him to lose weight until Clutch buried his ass after the playoffs. After they lost in the playoffs, he got buried. So don't tell me you were inspired by Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan when it was Clutch who buried you right after the playoffs. And it's funny that these guys can't say nothing back when they get buried by the media. It's funny. It just seems like they're just like, I'm not even gonna say it. Well, I say everything else. It seems like these guys are just controlled. There's no kickback. They can't say nothing back. So you guys tell me what you think.